Joe Biden has had a difficult time breaking through during the COVID-19 pandemic. At first, he wasn't really saying much. He was in hiding. He was MIA. Then he attempted to do some live streams, which had their own technical difficulties, didn't make him look so great. We did a story about his teleprompter going out at one point and how he really struggled to continue on with any message. And then finally, he's decided, why don't I just turn to what I know, what I'm comfortable with? And that's mainstream media. So he's been doing more and more mainstream media appearances. And I'm understanding why he was MIA because there were moments like what you're about to watch.
This is Sara Haines. In Hot Topics, we talked about Trump saying the government would reassess the recommended period for keeping businesses shut and people at home. Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
So I saw that all over Twitter yesterday, and I wanted to see it in its like full context because I'm like, oh, maybe that could make some sense in its full context. And no, it didn't. Not at all. Clearly he misspoke, but
yeah, I hope. But normally when someone misspeaks, it's that they say one word is incorrect. Maybe even the opposite of what they mean. I don't know one word that you can change or even flip that would make that sentence mean something.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. And it seemed like I don't know, he was just like fiddling around, like he wasn't like sitting still. I don't know, maybe he wasn't paying close attention, but there was more, okay? I want to go to this next video, and this is where, needlessly, Biden calls his own statement, which was a totally fine statement, stupid.
Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
You know, Donald Trump was asked
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I probably best I don't.
Oh, it's painful. It's so painful. Like, why? What is happening?
Terrible. It makes me feel. I don't want to say anything that's going to put me in trouble, but it makes me extremely uncomfortable and sad. What are you supposed to say? Like, and you know, everything I just said there, the experience I just had, that was what Nicole Wallace was experiencing in real time in that clip.
Yeah, and what's amazing to me, you know, he did an interview with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper like bullied him about how he was coughing into his hand and how he needs to cough into his arm. Like, that was also brutal and uncomfortable to watch. But these are the same people, okay, who were pushing for Biden because he's at least they were implying that he's the most electable, right? That he's got the best chance to beat Donald Trump. And when his campaign kept making that ridiculous argument, they wouldn't question it. They would just go ahead and air it without any challenges. How are you going to argue that he's the best suited to beat Donald Trump? And now there are rumors about how the DNC might attempt to replace Biden with Cuomo. The first time I heard of that was when Cenk mentioned it on the show. And look, I'm pretty critical of Cenk's predictions, as people know, but it actually did like a light bulb did come on because they've been carrying Cuomo's press conferences like nonstop and really just like talking about Cuomo nonstop. And so I'm worried that like that's really the direction they're going to go in. Because how undemocratic would that be?
I still think the prediction is unlikely, and in particular, saying it to be replaced by one person, I think makes it even more unlikely, but not impossible. I mean, the thing is, it would have to be that Biden would just say, you know, I'm sick or whatever, I'm dropping out, and then they would presumably have to choose someone else. I mean, I would say that in that case, I would probably default to the person who got second most delegates. That seems like the closest thing to democracy in that case. I'm going to predict that that's not the direction that they will go in.
Yeah.
And what if what if by like a crazy coincidence, a crazy pandemic miracle, the person who had the second most delegates also was the person stepping out and providing leadership coordination and great ideas to make sure that we get through this thing, that we protect the communities that are most vulnerable, and in fact set up a system whereby we will be protected against future calamities like this? What if we had that all wrapped up in one person? How could you turn it down?
Well, we do, and he will be turned down because they don't like him. They just don't like him. Instead, we're going to get this, which is the next video of Joe Biden bungling an interview. I believe this one was also on MSNBC.
I just can't figure the guy. It's like, I don't know, it's like watching a yo-yo. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to It's okay. I want to ask you.
Oh
no! Don't.
I don't want to see him on a debate stage against Trump. I just don't. Like,
twice
because Trump is a disgusting giant bully, and you know how he is. You just know. And by the way, like, I know people who defend Biden will then say things like, well, clearly Trump has issues of his own. He says oranges instead of origins. I get it. But Trump is able to bully his way out of everything. And Biden's not a bully. To his credit, he is, I think, politics aside, I think Biden is genuinely a kind person, right? Like, he doesn't have that bully in him. And on top of that, you know, what you see in these interviews doesn't inspire confidence. And so seeing him up against a bully, like, if he said that statement on the debate stage, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, Trump is like salivating at a chance to respond to something like that.
And he said it twice in that section. You got to stop with whatever that is. And then the looking down like you're about to be punished or something. I don't know what that is. I don't want to see it on anyone. I certainly don't want to see it on someone who's at least implying that they want to be president. It just, I hate the whole thing. I think it's really, really weird that people backing him aren't acknowledging any of this, that they're pretending that people bringing it up are being completely unfair. Look, I understand that there are people who, like, their thing is to try to find things like this. Like, that's what they like because they know that it's a crowd pleaser. And then if it's not there, they'll just make up something. I get that there are people like that. I'm not like that. I, in fact, get attacked for not doing that sort of content. But even I think I'm a reasonable person, and I can watch these appearances and just wonder what possible reasonable explanation there is for the things that we're seeing. And it's a warning, because there's going to be a lot of regular voters that are also going to be watching these things once they start to pay attention to this general election, if we get to that. And they, too, are going to wonder what the hell is going on. And I don't see any plausible argument coming to explain things.
And one thing to keep in mind as we, deal with COVID-19 and think about this upcoming election, Trump's doing well in some of his approval ratings. So Gallup did yet another poll, and it was released this week. It finds that 60% of Americans approve of Donald Trump's response to COVID-19.
That is sheer madness.
It is sheer madness. But that's what we're up against. Obviously, he's a liar. Obviously, he's really bungled the response to COVID-19 by first responding to it by saying it's a hoax. But it doesn't matter. It's like, we have to think about optics. I don't think I personally do that enough. I always get into like the policy proposals, and no, you got to think of what average Americans are seeing, right? And they see these press conferences with Trump and they think, no, he's taking care of it. He's taking care of it. So the approval, even among Democrats, has gone up, specifically in how he's responded to COVID-19. So something to keep in mind as we move forward, because I just don't think, based on what we've seen from Biden, he's got the best shot in beating Trump. And that's scary to me.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat, emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.